Hey, you crazy cats! 42's live streams and videos are simply not available on vinyl. You will have to go to the YouTubes for that. So if you want content about British traditions and culture, cutting-edge social commentary from an unapologetically patriotic perspective, along with a side order of madness you simply will not find anywhere else, then this is the place for you. And to all those early adopters in the chat, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That's how you get the good stuff, and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. So with that being said and done, squeeze yourself in. Let's get into it. You know you want to. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide and time zones are still a thing. And I'm actually getting better at this getting from the intro to me on the screen. It's looking like a very good show. And even before it said, can somebody give me audio check in the chat? Pat has chimed in and told me that the audio was good. So it's all working this evening. It's going to be good. Hopefully. I will say that Emma G, as she always does, asked me what the show was going to be about tonight, and I was like, kind of hard to explain. And we'll get to it. We're going to talk about the British justice system and how it's broke, but it's not newly broke. It always has had this tendency and problem, and also we're going to talk a bit about history and how it's portrayed, how it's put forward to us, and how things are swept under the carpet, and maybe put a couple of dots on the board and see if anybody can join them up and see where it is. That's the plan. We will see how it goes. And already I need a little bit of liquid. So we'll have that. Anybody that's wanting to go straight, that's watching and catch up, wants to go straight to the content, probably skip about 10 minutes or slide your bar along till the first presentation comes up. That's when the content will be kicking in. But before that, I've got to do a couple of hellos and stuff. In the chat, we have Mr. Captain Packer. What about you, chum? Welcome aboard. Amanda Lee is in. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. Bass is over from Holland. What about you, chum? Willie's Desert Hangout in the place. Willie's been doing quite a lot of streaming lately, by the way. If you're not subbed, go along. If you're not subbed, go along and sub to Willie. Willie, stick your link in the chat. I think most of these people probably do have you, but in case they don't, you'll see lovely views of the Arizona desert, we'll call it. Yeah, well, it's in the title. You see little birds chirping about and all sorts of stuff, and it looks fucking gorgeous and good weather all year round. So give that a look. The Spanish chickens here. What about you, Sean? Making it off and fucking cream cracker. I had that problem last night over at RPW Media's. I was watching it in bed, and I think I seen about 3-4 minutes of it. And then the next thing I knew, it was 6 o'clock in the morning, and I had to roll over and have some more snoozes. So there you go. Edmund is in. What about you, chum? Welcome, brother. Go ahead, stick your rank in, mate. Anybody that's not here, anybody that hasn't subbed, can go ahead and do that. And while we're on the subject of shoutouts, one that I sort of mentioned there, Rich, RPW Media, brother of Jimmy from Philly, does a really good show. Keep you up to date with all the madness that's going on in America, with all the political controversies. And he also has, 1 second, I need to actually burp. I've got like a wind issue going on here, like trapped wind. Sorry about this. Just talk amongst yourselves there. 1 second. Right. That seems to be my stomach, abdomen sorted out, and a bit of trap wind. Not good. But we will persist and overcome. Yes, Rich, RPW Media. He also has a full website. You'll find his website there. He has a lot of information. If you're looking to research anything, he's a really good place to start. If it's political and happening in America, he will have coverage on it. And the other person I like to, there's Brad James is in. What about you, Sean? Welcome aboard. Yes, here's another shout out. We're going to actually start doing every week. Get on Brad James's Substack. If you like poetry, but just as I don't know how you ever managed to stay about this place. If you don't like poetry, because I tend to do quite a bit, Brad James is an excellent writer. So you can get on his Substack as well. There's why he's put RPW Media's up. Emma needs to win me. I'll see Emma tomorrow evening. If I get the stage where I'm asking Emma to win me, there's something that's gone very wrong. Is all I can say about that. Yeah, it's not quite what a girlfriend is for. But I do take the point. Yes. So where was I? Yes. And the other show I like to give a shout out to is a girl called Robin. Courage is the Cure. Does a similar type of thing to what Rich does. I really do need this is my fault. I've been telling her I'm going to get her on the show for like 2 months now. I haven't got around to fucking sending an email because I'm a little bit disorganized, but we will get there. I hope they get Robin on. But if you want kept up to date with what's going on around the world, and it's quite pertinent because she is very much into personal liberties and the fight against digital IDs and the globalization and all of that. And if you want to keep abreast with what's going on that the global scale, Robin will be the person to keep you up with that. So get on that. Robin, Courage is Secure. Take Two drum covers is in. What about you, chum? Yep. There's Robin's. There's Robin's link. Oh yeah. Oh, there's Willie's Desert Hanging link. Yep. Get sub that. And with that, I think that is pretty much all of our shoutouts. And I think we're going to have a quick musical interlude before we even start because I need to blow my nose and all sorts of stuff. And then we will get cracking. But yep, hold on. I'm just going to find a link for it. Yep. Our subject tonight is a lot of stuff where people are attacking Britain in history, stuff that has been tried to be brushed onto the carpet. And I think we may as well start with a little song that celebrates the protector of the realm, the greatest king England never had. Take that to that mode. Yes, the greatest king England never had. Oh, fuck me. Well reminded. There is, of course, the other show that I like to give a shout out to. It is the one, the only, the Dave Waffle House. Un momento. Oh yeah, I do type like a granny. I hunt and pack with a couple of digits. There's no sophistication with my typing whatsoever. But I get there in the end. Yes, the day of Waffle House, the home of the world famous Friday night duck race. It is many things. A lot of them are quite confusing, but it is a cultural hub, a place where like minded people can come, take the piss, have fun, relax, and join together in some form of spiritual communion as a community. And communities are sadly lacking in these times. You want to be part of one? Get yourself over to the Waffle House. They'll find a lovely, friendly bunch of lunatics, and we all get on. It's great. And of course, you can get yourself some ducks. And many ways to get a duck. You can get a duck by commenting on any of the streams that does not get taken down because Dave has talked about stuff that YouTube wouldn't like him to talk about. But the ones that stay up, comment on them, that'll get you free ducks. You can get ducks by interacting on the show, by being the first person to type in 420 at 920, or indeed buy some ducks. Or if you're like me, or I'm a G, Anglo-Saxon might even buy you ducks. And Anglo has been very, very kind to me and buying me ducks. Very thankful for that, Anglo. And yeah, so that would be my shout out for the Dave Waffle House. And oh yeah, Bass is at the point, the hunt and pack technique. And with that, I'm going to have our musical interlude. And this is the marching song of the new model army.
Army of saints, marching good order where Calvary in battle. March, march, conscience of Parliament, hold your faith fast in the height of the battle. Scourges the heresy, over his foeman, rough man and armies in God's name to fight. Puritan tradesmen and leveller yeomen, sustain ye by fervour, by righteousness armour. March, march, bless ragamuffin, sing as ye go, the hymns of rejoicing. March, march, justified ruffians, chosen of heaven to glory you're rising. Humble, implacable, strong in your faith, marching invincible into God's grace. Red-coated trumpets, you new model come, with the fire of the right to bring England to order. March, march, army of saints, onward with sound to the push of the pike now. March, march, host of the righteous, the triumph for martyrdom, so is your right now. Rustic philosophers, calm theologians, mind-questing pamphleteers to the ranks come. City apprentice and Anglian yokel unite with intention, Gomorrah to level. March, march, sharp-sworded midwives of God's new millennium, born in its glory. March, march, Christ-starved nations, the Persians and Hills, and an end to our glory. Marching in ranks to the gospel's command, marching for Commonwealth, God and the land. red-coated prophets, new models come, with the fire and the right to bring in England to water.
There we go. That was a little bit of music and a song about the English Civil War. And I want to try to, I'm going to try to explain why we have so many of these wars, and also try to simplify the English Civil War and try to, through the cases we're going to talk about tonight, connect that with the present day. Might be complicated, but stick with me. I'm going to try to take us there. So the English Civil War, basically we have Cromwell's side, the parliamentarians against the royalists. Basically half of the, not half, a portion of the country wanted to have a legal system whereby the king could make laws or quash laws as and when it was expedient to him, and we could pick and choose who we could prosecute. And we would have prosecutions based on the reason for the offence and not the actual offence that it was. That was the king's side at that time, King James. And then we have Cromwell's side that wanted one set. Oh God, no. He was very, very far removed from Rasputin. Cromwell was a true believer Protestant. He was very good, God-fearing, very devout. And what he wanted was a system brought in whereby we had one set of laws for everyone that were I had a tutor who has a website for Civil War petitions even now. Right. The Cromwell side, what they wanted was one set of laws for everybody, up to and including the king, and those laws to be rigid and to be enforced based on what you did and not the reasons for why you did it. And this is going to become apparent as we go through tonight's stuff. And the first thing we're going to look at is that time he didn't so much ban Christmas, he banned the over celebration of Christmas. He was of the impression that Christmas had turned into a party that had very little of the religion left in it, and he wanted it brought back to the religious aspect. But yeah, he banned the drink from Christmas. He banned a lot of the joviality, but we had got to the point where we went past where we needed to be. So we're going to start off with, this is the time that Plaid Cymru attacked RAF base in a terrorist attack. Is the only way that I can sort of explain this. And we'll go through it and we'll one second, I need to cough. I would phrase that slightly differently. Yep, no drinking Christmas is bad enough. I would I would phrase that slightly differently. The king shouldn't be able to stand without the support of his people, and it can't be a totalitarian nightmare, which is why we have a representative democracy, and all our laws are derived through consent, and the consent process is where it goes through the parliament, and we grant consent for absolutely everything via this process. For example, with planning applications, everybody has a opportunity to thank you, Spanish Chicken. Oh, Brad James has put a link in there for the Civil War petitions. I'll get a look at that later. Where was I? Right. I will add this to the stage, and we will see where we are, and we will begin talking about it, and it should become interesting. Yeah, this is the time that Plaid Cymru began with their terrorist attacks, and I want to see how this looks on the screen. A little small. We're going to zoom that in a little. Right. So what's it? Former Welsh Conservative Senate leader Andrew R.T. Davis has joined with Reforms UK Mark Reckless in a bizarre bid to smear Plaid Cymru over a celebrated incident involving three of the party's founders 90 years ago. I'm going to say that all these people are doing is publicising the tweet that party put out 3 years ago, a couple of years ago. So anyway, so what did happen? In 1936, Saunders Lewis, Reverend Lewis Valentine, and DJ Williams set fire to the bombing school in Lynn's Peninsula, a Welsh language heartland in what is now Gladwin. By the way, Welsh language heartland citation needed. There was nowhere, I believe, that was very heavily when he spoke Welsh at that time. It all becomes quite confusing. But anyway, it is seen by many as a pivotal moment in the development of modern Welsh nationalism, when three respected professionals. 1 second, I just want to check. Exactly. Where am I getting the pointer? Well, I knew he was a Puritan, and the school system and media are full of lies and diversions. 42. Thank you. Thank G-Man. We have people like you on the webs. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, if you want to understand how bad the system is, Cromwell was a true patriot that saved the country, and he's treated like scum. And we have Guy Fawkes, who is an absolute traitor, tried to destroy the country, and he's treated like a hero. We've got it totally the wrong way around. Right, so when the three respective professionals, university lecturer, a Baptist minister, and a teacher took direct action against what they saw as the desecration of an iconic piece of countryside. To be clear, what the RAF was doing was setting up a base where they could train bombers to go and bomb the enemy in the upcoming World War II, and getting ready should we actually need to fight that war. They were not going to use it as the target. They were going to use it as a base from which these aircraft took off and landed. Hardly the fucking devastation you're talking about there. However, both Mr. Davis and Mr. Reckless took to social media to denounce a tweet commemorating the Penyberth fire that was issued by Plaid Cymru in 2023. The tweet dated September 8th, 2023 read, 87 years ago today, Lewis Valentine, Sanders Lewis and DJ Williams burned the bombing school in Penyberth Lynn, and that fire lives on in Plaid Cymru. So this is Plaid Cymru in their own tweet saying that they endorsed this terrorism. Mr. Davis wrote, Plaid Cymru separatists glorifying an arson attack on a British military. Plaid must delete this post, issue an unreserved apology, and condemn the arsonists Lewis Valentine, Sanders Lewis and DJ Williams unequivocally. Nothing less will do. Well, to be clear, I do not think that Plaid Cymru would put up with anyone posting about anything that is remotely patriotic. So I think if they were to apply their own standards to that, then yeah, they probably should be taking it down, but they're never going to. Mr. Reckless, a former Kent Tory MP and UKIP Independent Conservative, Brexit Party and Abolish the Welsh Assembly Party MS, who is expected to stand as a Reform candidate in May's Senate election, wrote, so Plaid Cymru celebrate arson attacks here in RAF as well as rearmed to fight the Nazis. In his A History of Wales, the renowned historian John Davies considered the significance of the Penyberth incident, stating, in the mid-1930s, all the energies of the party, Plaid Cymru, were channeled into battle against the government's intention of establishing the Lynn Peninsula, a centre for training pilots in bombing techniques. There were pacifist, cultural, environmental aspects. Cultural, pacifist and environmental. Where have we seen that trifecta? How often have we seen it? To the protests against the bombing school, but Sanders Lewis insisted upon making it primarily a nationalist question. So even back in the 1930s, they were taking something that they wanted as a nationalist thing. They're going, we'll say it's for cultural reasons. We'll say it's for environmental reasons, because we've got to protect the culture and we've got to protect the environment, provided the culture that they're protecting is not the British culture. To him, the point at issue was that the English government was intent upon turning one of the essential homes of Welsh culture idiom into literature, into a place for promoting barbaric method of warfare. And we have yet to find out why this place has got any sort of prominence in Welsh language, Welsh culture, Welsh literature. That evidence isn't there. They're just saying that it should be. The government had intended to establish bombing schools in Northumberland and in Dorset, but it had yielded to the protests of naturalists and historians. Baldwin, the Prime Minister, refused to accept a deputation of Welsh protesters, although they had obtained support from organisations representing over 500,000 of the people of Wales. Un momento. Yeah. Woke and communism, yeah, it's this is from the 1930s. This is the crappy bit about The building of the bombing school at Penyberth near Palestine began exactly 400 years after the passage of the Act of Union. Ha 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 ha. Oh, this is funny. There was no Act of Union. Wales is not mentioned in the Act of Union. No, Wales became a small part of England. You absolute fucking dickheads. Sorry, who's this from? Nation Cromwell. Yeah. Yeah, this is why. This is their own propaganda. And it's untrue. Demonstrably untrue. In the early morning of September the 8th, 1936, it was set on fire, and the responsibility for the act was accepted by Saunders, Lewis Valentine, D.J. Williams. In the trial at Conforn on October the 13th, Lewis and Valentine each made passionate addresses to the jury. I'm going to come on to that because there's a book about one of those, which is really hard to find. The jury failed to agree on a verdict, and the case was taken to the Old Bailey in London, where the three were sentenced to 9 months imprisonment. They were released on August 27, 1937, and were acclaimed by 1,500 of their compatriots at the Pavilion on confirmation on September the 11th. Now, the jury failed to agree a verdict in the case. These people went to the police and said, "We've set fire to this RAF base." They got duly arrested, taken to court. The evidence was given. Their defence was all about, "We did this for Wales, and that base shouldn't be there, so therefore we set it on fire." And the Welsh people found them not guilty. This is a process called jury nullification or jury tampering, whereby you get a jury to deliberate and give a verdict that is not consistent with the law. And when this is happening and your juries are overmining the law on any way, shape, or form, where these people, you want to go burn down an RAF base? Not long before we're about to get into a major war, by the way. Go ahead, that's fine. Personally speaking, I think they should actually get done for treason, but that's another thing. John Davis wrote, "Although the fire was the only example of violence against the bombing school, it created a tradition of unconstitutional action to which subsequent generations of nationalists would appeal." In 1936 and 1937, there was some evidence that Penyberth and its aftermath would cause nationalism to become a mass movement in Wales. Many were angered by the judge's scornful treatment of the Welsh language, by the decision to move the case to London, and by the decision of University College, Swansea, to dismiss Saunders Lewis from his post in the college department of Welsh before he had been found guilty. They were angry that the university where he worked as a Welsh teacher, I wonder, was he, the person teaching the language is also the person burning down RAF bases. These languages and the way they're being delivered currently is not as a language, but as a political football. The same thing happens in Ireland. The same thing happens in Scotland. The ecstatic welcome given to the three, not only in Conforn, but also in places such as Mustig, proves that their action had aroused deep feelings in Wales, but attempts to build upon the enthusiasm were not successful. In the main, nationalism attracted the young, and they lacked the resources and the qualities expected of community leaders. A Plaid Cymru spokesman said, with so many real challenges facing Wales, from the cost of living to the struggling in public services, the Tories, do you know what? The Tory party ceased to exist in 1835. There are no Tories in government. The party doesn't exist. By that logic, you would be calling Labour the Whigs, and you don't, because Labour and the Whigs are not the same thing. And the Tories and the Conservative Party are two different fucking political parties. They didn't even have the same leaders. And this is the level of deceit that we have to fucking live with in our everyday life. Have decided that their best contribution is to misrepresent the events from a chapter in Welsh history for a cheap headline. What way did they misrepresent it? Did they do the arson? Yes, they fucking did. But somehow Plaid Cymru wants to both celebrate it and demand that everyone else ignore it. Doesn't make sense. It's telling that with so little to say about a positive vision for Wales. Andrew R.T. Davis and Reform UK have settled on more culture war theatrics. Yeah, like Plaid Cymru does not do culture war theatrics. Like you're not getting Welsh museums to reflect something that is absolutely not the history of Wales. Would you fucking give my head peace? That is bullshit, right? Need to calm, settle. I'm going to go. We'll close this off. I'm going to have a look at the comments, and I'll see where we are. They do always hijack everything. The communists do hijack fucking everything. Yeah, the damn Whigs. The damn fucking Whigs. Yeah, fuck me. The Tory party does not exist anymore, people. Just get your head around that. Every time you see it in the paper, realize that they're talking about, let's see. Let's see. Can we actually find this quickly? Yeah, the Tories the Tories ceased to exist in 1832. For some unknown reason, they get added to they get sort of stuck in front of the history of the Conservative Party as if they've got something to do with each other, but they have not. Oh yeah, the only value you'll get from it is you'll get to know what these fuckers are saying. Now we've got some actual coverage. I'm going to zoom this in. Interestingly, the person that wrote this is it's from a blog called Minded, and it's about air power in British society and from 1908 to 1941. And he actually has some stuff to say about this. And a lot more than what that other wanker said. So we will go through that. This is from a site called blog called Ermindus. The Fire in Lynn. The fire of Penyberth in the Lynn Peninsula is an important part of the history of the Welsh Nationalist movement. In the early hours of 8 September 1936, three men, Saunders Lewis, Lewis Valentine, and DJ Williams, entered an aerodrome which was being built by the RAF as a bombing school and deliberately set fire to it. They then went to a nearby police station and just as deliberately turned themselves in. It was a political act. All three of the men were founding members of Plaid Cymru in 1925, and Lewis was its then president, with Valentine his predecessor. They try to say that this might not have had that this might have been these three people acting on their own, but not part of the party. But it seems they're very involved with the party. However, Plaid Cymru, as far as I can tell, had no direct involvement with the arson. A jury at Confirmed failed to reach a verdict, and the case was moved to London. An act itself inflamed the Welsh opinion, and there were the three men were sentenced to 9 months imprisonment. Obviously, what interests me here is the RAF bombing school, which, despite the arsonist's efforts, became operational in February 1937 as RAF Paros. Why set fire to a bombing school? Why? In 1936, this was precisely the time when the RAF was starting to rearm, building up its bomber forces to fight the next war, which of course was why the RAF needed a new bombing school to train the airmen who would be flying those bombers. Was the fire a militant anti-militaristic act, so to speak, the work of violent pacifists? Was that why they chose the target? The short answer is no. As a little reading shows, Penyberth was claimed as a site of some cultural significance for Wales, though exactly what that was is unclear. Wikipedia says a farmhouse there has been a home to generations of patrons and poets, which is sufficiently vague to warrant a citation needed. They have no evidence that there was anything of historical importance on this site. Lewis told the Confirmed jury that it was the terrible knowledge that the English government's bombing range, once it was established in Lynn, would endanger and in all likelihood destroy an essential focus of Welsh culture. The most artistic, spiritual heritage of Wales that made me think of my own career, the security even of my own family, things which must be sacrificed in order to prevent so appalling a calamity. Now, if anybody can find a source other than this or about this instance that points to this being important in Welsh history or culture, please let me know, because it doesn't seem to be out there. It seems like they made this stuff up and put it out of their fucking ass. However, I hope that my action at Paris Aerodrome on September the 8th saved the honour of the University of Wales, where Lewis lectured, for the language and literature of Wales and the very raison d'etre of the university. So he says that the university should have been proud of him for doing this, but it turns out that they sacked him, rightly so. Keith Morgan says there had been much local protest at the proposal to build this school, with physical and cultural damages that would result with the traditional Welsh farming community. Can anybody here think of anything that's happening in this current time that might damage the cultural heritage of the Welsh farming community and people coming in from outside, and how Plaid Cymru seems to address that by saying, fuck's sake, get over here, you're Welsh already. In a total contrast to their English cousins who were trying to create the means to defend the country against the upcoming war that everybody could see was coming. That seems consistent enough with Lewis's statement, and fair enough. When Welsh nationalists undertake a political act, you'd expect to find Welsh nationalism as the underlying reason. No, seriously. They're saying this is about protecting their culture. If they were interested in protecting their culture, they would be protecting it against all outside forces. They would be trying to do away with anything that was not Welsh, not welcoming people that are not European. Maybe think about that. But a few bits and pieces here and there do hint to pacifist motivations. For example, Grant H. Jenkins says the Penyberth RAF were fired by strong pacifist ideals as well as cultural considerations. Plaid Cymru did have a pacifist culture in the 1930s, and so had to be defended against charges of fascist sympathies. The people who go do as I say, not as I do, were surprised that they're a bit on the fascist side. I'm shocked. From time to time, and in 1936, arson certainly had been appropriated by pacifists more recently. I found a poorly sourced quote from an address or a pamphlet by Lewis, which very clearly sets out an anti-war justification for the arson. According to the fullest extract on the website of the Socialist Party of Wales, I was considering going to look at that, but fuck me, I've went through enough torture with the other one. It was entitled, which I think means the Bombing School of Lynn, and dates to 1936. A free translation likely added by me is given as follows. So this is what he reckons that they said. In the next war, the battle of soldier against soldier will only be secondary importance. The Air Force will be the most important of all bombers to destroy and burn and poison cities, turning the inheritance of centuries to ashes, raining down death on defenseless men, women, and children, and ensuring that for any of us who remain alive, there will be no food and shelter to keep them alive. The aircraft will be so numerous and so powerful that the flyers themselves will only be in slight danger. They will be trained in cold blood to aim at all sorts of targets. They will return to Earth having finished their dirtiest work in the history of creation. If someone asks them, where were you trained? The answer will be in Pool Nugwa in Lynn near Yinzawel and the road of the Welsh saints and pilgrims. What he's seeming to forget is that regardless of what we did, the other side was going to train and learn how to do this. And it might be an idea to have the ability to fucking strike back. There's a wonderful sexy Emma G. Welcome. No anti-Semitic thoughts, none. So far I've seen fucking Welsh people in this. Ain't seen any other group other than Wales. Aside from the very specific Welsh references at the end, it's a very standard pacifist response to the threat of these knockout blows. How important an element of pacifism actually was in the resistance to the bombing school, I don't know, but Lewis evidently thought that some element of Welsh speaking or reading audience would respond positively to such a claim. Yeah, because that's fight violence with a big fuck off fire. No. Oh, and they're saying your violence is bad, my violence is perfectly fine, which is what came in the court case. So there you go. Which is about all I can say without knowing more about the provenance of the quote. Another version was given by the Fellowship of Reconciliation in Wales, similarly unsourced. It would be interesting to know that the reaction of the non-Welsh pacifists to the arson in Penyberth. It was cheered. Was it cheered for striking a blow against British militarism, or decried for using violence towards a just end? Unfortunately, the contemporary press coverage I've been able to check is not much. No, finding fucking news articles from the time about that, good luck. I was looking for news articles about something that happened 2 years ago today and could not find the ones that were printed at the time. So, yeah, looking for news now, it's really hard. And doesn't comment on any such aspect, treating it as Welsh nationalism pure and simple. But it looks like it might have been a bit more complex than that. So there we go. That is the attack. That's what happened. I hope it was a very successful evening of pizza delivery, and glad that you dropped in. Oh, and there's Martin W. What about you? Martin, thank you very much for that, because I cannot pronounce any of them. I'm striking out. Right. Now, what else did I want to? Yeah. There was a pamphlet that was brought out called "Why We Burnt the School" that apparently explains all of this. I was looking for that, and what I did find was the ability to, yeah, you could buy the book. You get fuck all information here, like, but "Why We Burnt the Bombing School," Section 1, addressed by Saunders Lewis, was prepared for delivery in court in Carnarvon. So this is his witness statement in court, which I thought I would have been able to find just a copy of the witness or the court the statements in court or coverage of the court case, but no, ditto, fuck all. One momento. No, nothing. Fuck all. But you could buy it, and it's a used one. Obviously, I don't think you're printing on new. It's 25 quid. You can actually buy this pamphlet. I was not going to. I'm not interested enough to want to buy the book, and I did actually consider downloading the book. So I did find a place where you could do that. Oh no, this is actually a paper that was written about what they believed the Plaid Cymru was up to. Oh, fuck no, that's not. That's a different thing. I'd already moved on to the SNP and hadn't realised. Fuck. Right. We will leave that for the moment. 1 second. What was it? Yep. We're going to do this little bit. Stop actually. Presenter and fade. Share screen. Share screen. So, as we have established, this was a arson terrorist act, and here's a little more coverage on it. Bum, 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 bum. Right. Here we go. That needs zoomed in again. Okay, it's going to have to do with this. Last week in this blog here, I shared the song Davis Grew McGrath, performed by Daffod Awen, but written by the Reverend Lewis Valentine. I mentioned at the blog that Lewis Valentine had a special place in 20th century Welsh history, so I am here giving that history. Lewis Valentine, 1893 to 1986, together with Saunders Lewis and DJ David John Williams, were the three men who were involved in this particular event. Valentine was a Baptist minister in North Wales. Saunders Lewis was brought up in Liverpool in a Welsh-speaking family. His father was a minister in a Welsh-speaking chapel in Liverpool. What a fucking shock. We've got Micks in Liverpool speaking non-English, saying that they're not English. Reminds you a lot of the Irish. Just throwing it out there. He became a celebrated playwright and lecturer in English at Swansea University and the founder in 1925 of Plaid Cymru, or the Party of Wales. DJ Williams, never known as David John, was born in Wrexham in rural Carmarthenshire, and in addition to writing short stories, he was an English teacher at a grammar school in Fishguard, West Wales. The writer of this blog is saying I went to school in the 1970s, but by that time it was a comprehensive school, so he went to this actual school. In 1936, the protest to the English preparations for war, the English imperialism in Wales, some 500,000 people have protested against the construction of the bombing school. I think that's overstated. And destroying of a historical Welsh landmark, Penyberth had been used for centuries as a stopping point for pilgrims going to Jan's Island, Bardsley Island, which is the end of Lynn's Peninsula. I'm really not sure how much a fucking gatepost is going to be a problem. The three of them set fire to the RAF bombing school in Lynn Peninsula at a place called Penyberth. At the time, the men were in their early 40s and deliberately chose by Plaid Cymru, as the three were all middle-aged and respectable pillars of their communities. So what they were trying to prove here is, yeah, you're good friends and neighbours. We're willing to set you on fire. Penyberth is often seen as the first act of Welsh nationalism or patriotism of the 20th century. After setting fire to the bombing school, the three men made their way to the local police station, where they gave us up and told the confused police officer what they had done and why. In the subsequent court case and conference, a largely sympathetic jury of their peers failed to find them guilty. And so the trial was sent to the Old Bailey in London, where the three were found guilty and sent to jail. They each served 9 months in prison in Warmworth Scrubs. Saunders Lewis was controversially dismissed from his job at Swansea University before he had been found guilty of the crime. Yeah, he fucking told them he did it. You don't need to be found guilty whenever your defense says, I was right to do that. Fucking wankers. He was subsequently hired as a lecturer of English at Cardiff University, strictly speaking, University of Wales Swansea and the University of Wales Cardiff, as they were known at the time. Oh, and here we go. Here's a memorial at the place. We have a memorial to the fucking bombers. For those of you who wonder why I disagree with anything being done on the Maze site, which was the home of the H blocks where both Protestant and Republican prisoners were housed, and they're trying to turn that site into something that would include A museum of the hospital where the fucking hunger strikers killed themselves. And why I think it would be a bad thing, just have a look at this. You've got the 3 people who are famous for fucking attacking the English in Wales, and they get a fucking memorial. This is not good. This is the very opposite of good. So there you go. There's all of that. When will Wales release the dragons? The problem is, Budgie will fucking set the dragons on us. They will set the dragons on us. They have no interest in setting the dragons on the people that need the fucking dragons set on them. They don't like us. Yeah. What is that shit? Yeah. Yeah. Well, what are we doing here? We're making fucking heroes of the terrorists. And with that, I'm going to have a musical interlude. It's going to be something to calm us down just a little. Yeah. Yep, we're going to have a musical interlude. It's going to be a little bit calmer. It's going to be Going Home to Old Maui. Just give us a second till this thing loads. We'll get some sound on. StreamYard. All my students are morons. Yeah. This is true. We will be tripping over the fucking dragons. Well, we fucking will. Pig-eyed mix. Yeah, pig-eyed mix. Fucking, oh. Don't start me. I'll end up saying a lot of things that I'm not supposed to say about the nature of these fuckers. Here's On My Way.
'Tis a damn tough life, full of toil and strife, we whalermen undergo. And we don't give a damn when the day is done, how hard the winds did blow. 'Cause we're homeward bound from the Arctic around, with a good ship taut and free. And we don't give a damn when we drink our rum with the girls of old Maui. Rolling down to old Maui, me boys, rolling down to old Maui. We're homeward bound from the Arctic around, rolling down to old Maui. Once more we sail with a northerly gale towards our island home. Our mainmast sprung, our whaling done, and we ain't got far to roam. 6 hellish months we passed away on the cold Kamchatka Sea. But now we're bound from the Arctic around, rolling down to old Maui. Rolling down to old Maui, me boys, rolling down to old Maui. We're homeward bound from the Arctic around, rolling down to old Maui. Once more we sail with a northerly gale to the ice and wind and rain. Them coconut fronts, them tropical lands we soon shall see again. Our Stunsel's bones is carried away. What care we for that sound? A living gale is after us. Thank God we're homeward bound. Rolling down to old Maui, me boys, rolling down to old Maui. We're homeward bound from the Arctic around, rolling down to old Maui. How soft the breeze through the island trees, now the ice is far astern. Them native maids, them tropical glades is awaiting our return. Even now their big brown eyes look out, hoping some fine day to see our baggy sails running for the gales, rolling down to old Maui. Rolling down to old Maui, me boys, rolling down to old Maui. We're homeward bound from the Arctic around, rolling down to old Maui. Rolling down to old Maui, me boys, rolling down to old Maui. We're homeward bound from the Arctic around, rolling down to old Maui.
Okay, so to round up, what we had was a bunch of Welsh people, for political reasons, attacking an RAF base, setting on fire, pleading guilty, but with reasons, that being that they don't like the British and or the English, and the first jury let them go, and then they went to a second jury and they got tried. Now, what has that got to do with today? Like, where do we have a similar case today? Let us have a look and see what we have going on. Because, have a look at this. Let me know if there's any similarities. This is coming from Reuters. And I'm going to make this a little larger. Zoom in and zoom in again. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. What are we like on the screen? Here we go. UK pro-Palestine activists not guilty of burglary over raid at Israel firm Ebit. Summary: 6 cleared of aggravated burglary, 3 of felon disorder. No convictions, hung jury on all other charges. Trial centred on 2024 raid on Israel defence firm Ebit. London 4th Reuters, 6 British pro-Palestine activists were acquitted of aggravated burglary over 2024 raid on Israel defence firm Ebit's factory on Wednesday, with the jury returning not guilty verdicts at all in a blow for prosecutors. The 6 were members of the now banned pro-Palestine Palestine Action, which organised a meticulously planned assault on Ebit Systems' UK facility in Bristol. Interestingly, we've had other court cases from Bristol, have we not? Southwest England in the early hours of August the 6th, 2024. I don't know what that was. I think that was an effort. The raid, which prosecutors said caused about £1 million, $1.4 million of damage, took place around 10 months into Israel's bombardment of Gaza in response to a deadly attack by Hamas-led fighters in October 2023. All of which has got fuck all to do with England. Prosecutors had told a jury at London's Woolwich Crown Court at the start of the trial in November that the 6 were part of a larger group that used a white former prison van, a former prison van, to ram their way into the factory and then smash equipment. The defendants said they were simply motivated to destroy weapons, to stop what they described as Israel's genocide in Gaza and disavowed violence against people. They said, we don't like violence against people, but in order to stop that, we're going to do some violence against people. Charlotte Head, Samuel Corner, Leona Como, Fatima Sigiwawawa, and Sri Rogers and Jordan Devlin were all acquitted of aggravated burglary by the jury after more than 36 hours of deliberation. For any of you, if any of you have done jury duty, I have, by the way, 36 hours, that's a fucking week of deliberation. That's going in every day for a week and sitting for fucking hours going, I can see the video where they hit the woman with the sledgehammer, but she's not guilty. The reason why you get that is you have political ideologues on the jury that are just, yeah, no, I don't give a fuck what they did. They are not getting convicted. Rowana, Rogers, and Devlin were found not guilty of violent disorder, while the jury could not reach verdicts on the same charges against Head, Corner, and Como. And the jury could also not reach verdicts on additional charges of criminal damage. Corner has also denied causing grievous bodily harm with intent for hitting a female police sergeant with a sledgehammer. She said, yes, I hit her with a sledgehammer, but that's not damage. What the fuck world are we living in? The jury was unable to agree a verdict on that count. The defendants hugged in the dock and waved to supporters in the public gallery who cheered loudly after the judges left court. Prosecutors said they wanted time to consider whether to seek a retrial on the counts on which the jury could not reach verdicts. Interestingly, the ones that were found not guilty, there's fuck all you can do about them. That's done. The no verdicts, they could take them back to court again. I would suggest they get a change of fucking venue. Or I think something needs done about jury tampering in this case, or jury nullification. Britain proscribed Palestine Action as a terrorist organisation last July, almost a year after the Ebit incident took place, making it a crime to be a member. The ban has separately came under the challenge at London's High Court. Judge Jeremy Johnson had told the jury the ban was irrelevant to the criminal trial, and they must consider the case on the evidence, not on the basis of what you or anyone else thinks about Palestine Action or the war in Gaza. So what he's saying is the war in Gaza is irrelevant to this case. All you're looking at is, did they break in? Did they damage the property? And did they damage the people? It seems the jury was unable to do that. Prosecutor Daniel Healer said the defendants were intended to cause serious damage to property and to use or threaten unlawful violence against anyone who stood in their way, if necessary with the use of weapons. But Head said she was opposed to violence, and Corner gave evidence that he only swung the sledgehammer at the police officer to protect one of his friends. Yeah, I swung the sledgehammer at the police officer, but yeah, I was allowed to do that because of the situation. Fuck off. No, you were not. So here we have a case of people doing bad shit and getting let off because of the political motivation. Yeah. Oh, well, here's the problem. If you've got one of those ideologues in the jury, they're going to know who the other jury members are, or at least enough to be able to find them. The next thing we're going to look at is a little bit about the actual attack itself. Actually, well, Well, we'll do the Morning Star one first. We will do what the Morning Star said about this. This is interesting. Share screen. The Morning Star said about the attack, and this is from the 16th of March 2025. What it said about the attack. Let's see what they're saying. Oh yeah, nice picture. We've got the communism in there. Palestine Action activists used the mechanical cherry picker platform to attack the Bristol headquarters of Israeli-owned weapons manufacturer Ebit on Saturday. With one activist locked inside the cab, 3 others on the platform sprayed the officers with red paint symbolizing Palestinian blood and used a sledgehammer attached to a rope to smash windows. Ebit Systems has 5 factories in Britain that were used for manufacturing drones, pilotless warplanes, and other weapons for Israel. Palestine Action said that according to Israeli media, Ebit provides up to 80% of the Israeli military's land-based equipment and 85% of its war drums. It doesn't make them all in that one fucking plant, you dickhead. I'm going to take a guess that Ebit's quite a large corporation and they've got facilities in different countries. This is not where it all comes from, you fucking dickhead. The Direct Action Group said Palestine Action first shut down the site on April 13, 2021 with a rooftop occupation. Since then, Ebit has been relentlessly targeted in high-profile actions with clear aim of ending British manufacture of weapons used in the genocide of occupation of Palestine. Do you know who this is going to hurt? The people that work in that fucking factory. These people have got jobs. Those jobs pay their mortgages, put their kids through school, support the local fish and chip shop, support the local cinema whenever they go to them, whenever it's not totally fucking woke. These jobs are necessary, and we don't have people lined up to fucking give us other manufacturing work or any sort of work in Britain. Maybe leave the fucking factory alone. In the past week, Palestine Action has struck numerous times at Ebit's insurers. Oh yeah, where else are they going after? At Ebit's Insurers Alliance and Aviva, and has rejected calls for ethnic cleansing by US President Donald Trump by wrecking his Ayrshire golf resort. Yeah, of course you did. A spokesman added, while Ebit weaponry is used for massacres in Gaza, citation needed, and the West Bank, 20 Palestine Action members, including the Finton 18, are imprisoned without trial. Yeah, they're imprisoned waiting trial, you fucking dickhead. Ebit Prime Minister Keir Starmer and those facilitating war crimes are criminals, not those taking action to stop the slaughter in Palestine. Activists are shutting down Ebit Bristol, making clear that it will not back down against a company whose sole purpose is to profit and destruction of Palestine life. Yeah. Oh, and they're also going after their insurers. Yeah. So the Ebit is there's no truth in this article. Where am I going to go to next? Oh, yes. The statue of Colston. That was also in Bristol. Those people were arrested, put on trial, and the jury said, no, you're fine, just go ahead and rip that statue down. Their defense was, yeah, we ripped that statue down, but it needed ripping down. And the jury agreed with them and let them all walk free. And where we are going to is a situation where where crimes against special, they're really fucking necessary for the people that work them. And this is where the problem is. You can only work in the factory there. I can't see them putting in a tractor company in its place. I'll tell you who they're necessary for. They're necessary for the workers. So you're getting a system whereby people are getting judged based on the political motivation of what they did and not what they actually did. I think the next one I'm going to go to, yeah, let's get a bit more of, yeah, get a little bit of reality into the actual events. Which ones? If you're talking about the mining industry, it would take the mining industry to agree to reforms, which they refuse to do. I don't know what. I'm open the options. If we can get manufacturing back into the country, what I would do is I would make a ruling that any car that is given to a member of the British public on the disability mobilisation scheme, where you can get a car, I think where that scheme's not abused, it's very good. I think it's very important. It gives mobility to people. But what I would do is I would make a declaration that that car must be assembled in the United Kingdom, which would put more which would put some manufacturing back in. That's one thing I think that would be within our grasp, where we could say to the likes of Volkswagen, Ford, Citroen, all these companies that want their cars in that scheme. Yeah, by the way, you're going to have a production line here. You're going to have to assemble them here, and to give some jobs, or else we will restrict it to only the cars of the companies that do that. And what is really scary for people is British people, English people, Scottish people, Welsh people, Northern Irish people that have got a job at a factory somewhere, and next thing there's a fucking bunch of other English people. Yeah, exactly. And this is where the problem is, because we are now back to a point where we have political fucking justice. I'm going to put up the English Bill of Rights later on. First, I want to get a bit of information actually about the attack and some reality into it. Because so far we've fucking none. It's not brilliant, but it's yeah, there's a picture of somebody with a sledging hammer. 6 Palestine activists have been cleared of aggravated burglary at a break-in over their Israeli-linked defence firm's UK site. Prosecutors said that 6 members of the group, wearing red boiler suits and armed with sledgehammers, used a prison van as a battering ram to get inside EBIT Systems UK factory in Bristol in a meticulously organised attack in the early hours of 6th of August 2024. They were accused of spraying red paint from fire extinguishers, using crowbars and hammers to break computer equipment and boxes of technical products, and smashing up the disabled toilet. Yeah. Fuck me. Go in and wreck the disabled toilet, why don't you? What the fuck world are you living in? How is that furthering your aims? But after the trial at Woolwich Crown Court, Samuel Corner, 23, were found not guilty of aggravated burglary. I'm not going through the names again. They also denied charges of criminal damage and violent disorder. The jury failed to reach verdicts in the criminal damage after. Right. The jury also failed to reach a verdict of additional charge of causing grievous bodily harm against Oxford graduate Corner. Yeah, of course he went to Oxford. It was alleged he struck Police Sergeant Kate Evans on the back with a sledgehammer while she was on the floor, leaving her with a fracture to her lumbar spine. He hit a fucking policewoman with a sledgehammer while she was down. And these fuckers couldn't convict him. The 6 defendants hugged in the dock and waved to supporters in the public gallery, who cheered loudly after the courtroom. Prosecutors said they will consider whether or not to seek a retrial on the remaining charges. Corner was remanded in custody, while all the other 5 defendants were granted conditional bail, having already spent around 18 months in prison and remand. Shortly before returning the verdicts, the judge directed jurors to ignore posters put up on the bus stops and lampposts near the court, which set out the principle of jury equity, where a jury returns a verdict according to conscience, which might appear to be intended to influence you. Do you know what? I think those posters, there's a fucking chance of a mistrial here. They should go for a mistrial. That's jury tampering. Prosecutors said local police have been asked to remove them. Jurors were told, yeah, I bet you if there were fucking George Crosses, the police would have had them down. Jurors were told at the start of the trial that the allegations came before Palestine Action's prescription under terrorism laws last year, and the ban was not relevant. Yeah, so they're saying that while they did this, being part of Palestine Action was legal, so you can't do them for that, but you can do them for everything else. The court heard that EBIT Systems UK manufactures defence technology equipment and is a UK registered company whose parent company is based in Israel. So it's a UK company. It's a UK subsidiary. Pretty much everybody's going to work in this to be English. All of the defendants, apart from the metal worker Devlin, gave evidence admitting they had entered EBIT's factory without permission, damaged property, including drones and computers. The jury was told, yeah, so they admitted everything. Prosecutor Dana Heelan KC said, rightly or wrongly, they all genuinely believed the attack on EBIT would help the Palestinian cause in Gaza. But she said that the group were willing to go further than just damaging property and to injure people if necessary, anyone who got in their way, and tried to stop them achieving their goal, which was no less than to shut EBIT down. See, here's the thing. They don't want this company to work anywhere. They don't want these jobs being anywhere, and they really don't care about anybody who's working these jobs. In body-worn camera footage played in court, prosecutors said the security guards were sworn at, had sledgehammers swung at them, were whipped, and one sprayed with foam from a fire extinguisher. Fire extinguisher foam is not just like a fun thing if you get it at close enough range. Also say that I'm guessing they did not bring the fire extinguishers with them, that they've taken them off the wall, and setting one of those off is actually quite a serious crime, because they are there purely for health and safety and not to attack fucking people. And there is a legal corner around that. It's similar to that of stealing one of those life rings that you find at the coast. Corner was said to have struck Evans in the back with a sledgehammer as she was kneeling down trying to arrest another suspect. Corner's lawyer said he generally thought that Cameron Rogers was being seriously injured. Yeah, he genuinely thought. The defendants all denied any intention to use violence, telling jurors the sledgehammers were not in any circumstances intend to injure security staff. But yet they fucking did injure security staff because you hit the fucking woman in the back with it. Heads barrister Rajiv Mohan KC compared the group to the suffragettes. Well, given that the suffragettes did indeed plant bombs, blow up churches, and destroy mail and by setting letterboxes on fire, and did use violence quite a lot. Yeah, they are similar to the suffragettes. I'll give you that, but it doesn't mean the suffragettes were right. Who were accused of being a threat to the social order and unladylike, feral, aggressive, and violent. Yeah, do you know what? No, he's not. By MPs in the mainstream press at the time, yeah, fuck off. Yeah, so there you go. That's basically what happened. We've got to a point where these people, yep, fuck. My niece is studying in Bristol. She's a DJ and a decent kid and says there's a very nasty atmosphere of casual sexual assault in the clubs. Fuck. Martin, I really think there should be. I think they should go for retrial on the basis of jury nullification. But here's the other thing. This is where it's also quite pernicious, because here's what we'll do. You can't trust a jury. We'll take this a diplock, and we'll be part of the movement to get away to remove trial by jury. We've got it coming from both sides. We've got A, shite juries, and B, the government trying to do away with the jury system. And I honestly believe that getting verdicts like this is part of their ploy to try to get rid of jury. Get rid of jury trials. And what I will put up now, yep. Going to put up now the English Bill of Rights. This is coming from the Orange Museum, or the Museum of Orange History. Share that up. Yeah. Yeah. They planted fucking bombs is the problem. This is the Bill of Rights, which was created in 1689. I want to draw your attention to Section 9. By the Bill of Rights, 1689 AD, the following acts were declared illegal: the return of partial or corrupt juries. This is where we tie it all back to where we were at the beginning. In the English Civil War, 1642, 1689, 1688 for the Glorious Revolution. This whole dispute between the people of England and the people of Britain, quite central to it, was law and order. And what they were saying is, from this day forward, you will no longer be allowed to select juries that will give a political reason, or you can't argue your political reason. The jury has to actually find them the facts, And this is how far back we've gone. We have gone back to then. King Billy writes, exactly. William Orange, King Billy, who rode on a white horse, and who famously was on the 12th of July at the Battle of Boyne, and there was Fenians on the left, there was Fenians on the right, there's King Billy in the middle, and he showed them how to fight. Right, Cub Aquarius, what about you, chum? Welcome aboard. Right, so there we go. That is all of that, and I think with that we're going to have a musical interlude while I figure out what I'm going to do next. We're going to have we're going to have the England Day song, as I think where we're at. Well, I have a think about what we're going to do next. To the left, to the right, oh, right, here we go. The England Day song. Who are ye, in rags and rotten shoes, all dirty and bearded, blocking up the way?
We are English. We come from the edge of Europe,
beyond which lies only water,
ice and death.
This is the place we made our home.
Raised our cattle, planted the crops, evoked their gods from circles formed of stone, so those gods could witness us atone.
When Roman forces did invade, we fought as lions, refused to yield, and those we left out in the field, of the English, they were the seed.
Who adversity did propagate, an indomitable people who we would fight, toil and mock in equal measure, and find humour in our adversity, because that is our way. The battle-weary tribes besieged by Vikings,
banded as brothers with Angles, Jutes and Saxons. It took some years of consideration
to produce our culture of toleration. The creation of the English nation at Stamford Bridge we won the day, but William was quickly on his way.
1066, the commutation brought the cursed Norman invasion. A ruling class they would impose until calls for Magna Carta arose. And to all the kings the message was sent: you only rule us by consent.
So what of the English, I hear you ask? You know us as the working class, the ones whose toil, blood and sweat brought you the greatest empire yet. So you should learn at your mother's knee of revolutions that number 3.
That number 3. 1, 2, 3.
Agricultural, where mechanised planting and harvesting was married to selective breeding, we created a food surplus, the envy of the world. Industrial, where we conjured cities to house factories inhabited by a well-earned workforce to man the machines. This coupled to the ingenuity of English engineers who never found a problem without a solution. The third, the glorious one, that brought about civil and religious liberty, one rule for all, and the radical notion that a man should profit from his labours. But we are not greedy. We exported our language, our law, our sense of fair play. In our safe shipping lanes trade flows through never-ending day.
And when Britannia ruled the waves,
we used our power to free all slaves. We managed the world and allowed all others to travel in the social order we created with humour in adversity, because that is our way. Achievements we have too many to list. From this small kingdom God has kissed, we travelled the world from the highest mountain to Arctics, Kabatic, tundra and back again. The traces of our kindness are in our railway lines that transport the world to work, our compassion in the water systems that hydrates foreign soil.
We left everywhere better than we found it, because that is our way.
I could list another thing or two, like how we taught the world to queue, but I'll leave that for another occasion. It's time to have a celebration. Admire the wonders of our creation. To our ancestors, homage we must pay for doing things the English way. For we are the English, and this is our day.
Who are ye, in rags and rotten shoes, all dirty and bearded, blocking up the way?
We are the pilgrims, master. We shall go always that little bit further. It may be beyond that last blue mountain barred with snow, across that angry or glimmering sea. We are the English.
Every Englishman's house is his castle. So hoist your colours on the ramparts for England Day. Then down after St George's Day. We are English, and we'll be patriotic in an organised way.
Okay, anybody that wants to get involved with England Day, you all seen the date, it's in April, a couple of months away. What I'm looking for is somebody from every county in England to do something for England Day. It could be a fucking picnic, it could be going to a local beauty spot that has some English history, some English heritage, something. It could be going for an English breakfast. Take a picture of it, send it to the Facebook page, and let us register that as an event that happened for England Day this year. We need public participation in this project. Where you are currently at now in England is the whole left is gathered together. They know what they're doing. They're joined up. They're helping each other. And the English are joining together to stand outside hotels and stuff. We need to be doing something that is pro-English just for the fact that it's English and actually enjoy and celebrate our culture. We need to do that. Just to remind us what we're fighting for, and also to show that there is some form of a homogenous group. If you want to know how to fight this, this is a starting point. This is a starting point. A very, very small ask. Do something for England. Take a picture. You don't even have to put yourself in the picture. It could be the fucking fish and chips that you've got at the seaside that you use as the picture. Just with a sign saying England Day 2026. Can we please do that? And just to emphasize that the other side are very well coordinated and connected. Fuck me, that's not that has not worked. That link I have does not seem to be there. Okay. 1 second. I'll see if I can find that. Yep. Let's see. All right. There we go. Here we go. Oh, fuck. I do love a good meme. Right. Remember we were talking about the the attack on EBIT, and then EBIT's insurers. Well, just check this out. This is what's going on in Ireland at the moment. Check this shit out.
A number of prominent GAA stars have called on the association to drop.
Actually, before we actually read this, the GAA is the Gaelic Athletic Association. It was created in the mid to late 1800s to promote the Irish language and sports and culture and all of that sort of stuff. That's who these people are. They are an amateur sporting competition, but they have some of the largest stadium in the fucking country. They are very well funded from God knows how, and they are very, very fond of the Provisional Irish Republican Army. They name a lot of their grounds and competitions after members of the Irish Republican Army. So that's who they are.
Allianz Insurance as a sponsor for GAA games due to its links with Israeli military action in Gaza. Close to 800 current and former players signed a letter of protest handed into Croke Park today. A petition for all GAA members is being published tonight, calling on people to bring motions to their own clubs seeking a new sponsorship provider.
The signatories are current and former players from Gaelic football, hurling, camogie and ladies football. The petition handed in, along with an open letter to management at Croke Park in Dublin.
GAA members at local level and maybe at national level or at county level should bring a motion to discontinue the link with Allianz and to do it as quickly as possible.
Only people who don't better are whole part. And they are disassociating themselves completely from the grassroots, which is our GAA, not theirs.
This is our national game, and if the GAA, as I say, the biggest organisation in Ireland, if they can't stand up and call them out for it, what hope have anyone got?
The global insurance company Allianz was listed in a report by UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights, Francesca Albanese, as investing in bonds and shares linked to Israel's actions in Gaza and the occupied Palestinian territories. Allianz says its long-standing partnership with the GAA is about supporting Irish sport and communities. It said as a matter of principle it did not comment on individual customers or business matters and that all business decisions were guided by strict legal.
I'm going to cut that there, but you've got enough of it. So, yeah, people, when they start putting pressure on everything, it's all very well coordinated. It happens in England, Ireland, Wales, and Scotland at the same time. These people, they're not woke, mate. They don't believe any of it. They just hate Britain that much that they're prepared to do anything that is anti-British. They really don't care. It's that simple. The interesting thing about the Irish is, war that happened between English people and Dutch people in the very tip of South Africa. The fucking Irish turned up on the other side. The American War of Independence, Irish turned up on the other side. Anywhere there's English people fighting a war, the Irish will turn up on the other side. Second World War, the IRA got busy bombing fucking England in conjunction with the Nazis. They really, really, really don't like you. I know you are. But the problem is the fucking Jerry Adams, the baritone. Oh fuck. You do know that you do know Jerry Adams told his brother that he was going to go and hit him with a baseball bat because Jerry Adams' brother raped his daughter, and he comes from a house that has a whole lot of his father doesn't seem to have been a very nice person with his children as well. Although he too was arrested for shooting a Royal Ulster Constabulary member in the 1950s in a gun battle. So it all links together. They all join together. total another. And a few, there's a woman called Maria Cackle who has a book out called Rough Based about her treatment. She was a Irish nationalist that got raped once or twice. RA could also stand for I'll rape anyone, because they've got a lot of that in their books. So there we go. Just to recap, we are still back in a system whereby court cases are currently being decided on the political ideology of the person in front of them and not the actual matters of the case. I'm not sure we need to complain about the jury nullification. We need to put it to our members of parliament that this has happened and that it's wrong, and that's the only way forward. And Don Browning is in from down under. Welcome aboard. Glad you could drop in. But you have arrived pretty much at the end, because I'm going to wrap this up in the next 5 minutes. Pretty close to 2 hours. Pretty close. Just having to think about what we're going to do for the outro. And I think we're going to do harmony, melody, and rhyme. I'm going to press wrong buttons. Linda Hunter's in. Both the Australian ladies. And we'll go to a video file. And we are looking for harmony, melody, and rhyme. And I think that might be in red. It is. All right. I'm going to play this, and I'm going to put your comments up in the stream. 1 second. How do you get a Catholic to rape a hedgehog? Dress the hedgehog up as a choir bar? Oh, fuck. Yeah. Yeah, they do seem to have a lot of problems with that as well. In that heathen church. Just be careful with what I'm saying. Yeah, right, we're just going to do harmony, melody, and rhyme. I nearly fucking started playing the Protestant Boys there. Right, this is going to be outro, and I'll put your comment up in the screen. Okay.
This is 42 speaking. Welcome to the Resistance. You are not alone, and we shall walk this journey together. What about you, John? If one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. Let us gather together those that can perform, and from the scarred timbers build our own platform. From that grand house they tried to burn down, there's gold in the ashes if you look around. Let us gather together those that can perform, then from those scarred timbers build our own platform. Build our own platform. We will sing words of wisdom. We will sing world harmony, melody, and rhyme. We descended from minstrels in old days of yore. We will create a culture as we did once before, forced to stand by as our country was sold. Did you really think we'd leave that story untold? So one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. They have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. They have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern by as our country was sold. Did you really think we'd leave that story untold? We will sing words of wisdom. We will sing harmony, melody, crying. Harmony, melody, and crying. So one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. I have seen the future, the way forward is clear. Among us still stands a modern day Shakespeare. Never realized you could not kill a dream. So we will gather together those that can perform, and from the scarred timbers build our own platform. You're talking to 42. What about you, chum? If one brings a guitar and one brings a voice, then they stand together and make their own choice. Sing words of wisdom, we will sing for all time. We will sing for our people, harmony, melody, and rhyme. We will sing words of wisdom, we will sing for all time. We will sing for our people with the ancient trilogy of harmony, melody, rhyme. The gods of water, earth, and land brought us through the line. The earth, the moon, the sun, these became a deity, independent parts of another trilogy. Is it a coincidence, or is it just sublime that we now bring excellence in harmony, melody, and rhyme? Wealth, you control the mainstream, but you never realized you could not kill a dream. You cannot kill a dream, and we shall walk this journey together.
There we go. That was harmony, melody, and rhyme. And yes, Al Mac is fucking talented. He created all the music that it is unrecognizable from the original thing I wrote. The man's a fucking composer. Right. So that being said and done, I've been 42. You lot in the chat have as always been fucking amazing. Good night. God bless. See us all next week. I'm out of here. Goodbye.